Hello, pre-algebra. Mr. Lawrence here with your flipped lesson for January 30th. And we have been working with quadrilaterals and other types of polygons. Today we are going to try to figure out some angle measures. So let's say I have a parallelogram like this, and you should all know by now how many degrees are in a parallelogram. But let's say I know that this angle here is 110 degrees. I want to know two things. I want to know if you could figure out the measure of angle x, and I also want to know if you could figure out the measure of some other angles I'm going to put on here. Oops, I'm going to have to lower that a little bit. There we go. We'll call that angle y. And then I've got a couple more angles I want you to see if you can figure out the measure of. All right, let me get them all drawn in here. And there we go. That one's off a little bit. Let's see if I can fix that. Okay, that looks pretty good. And so I want to know angle y. I'll call it z, and then I'll recycle the alphabet A and B. All right. Well, you notice that I can extend these segments, right? Obviously, the parallelogram by itself has boundaries, but the lines that form it don't. So I can make it stretch forever. Since I can make it stretch forever, I can use that information to figure out the angles I need to know. Like, for example, I could figure out the measure of angle A by using my half circle. I know A would have to be 70 degrees, right? There's 180 degrees in a straight angle. Now, I have an angle Z going here, or better yet, I see corresponding angles. I see an F like this. Because of that F, I know angle B must also equal 110 degrees. It must be the same as the given angle of 110 degrees. All right, angle X should be a piece of cake right now. Let me get in green. By the way, I love cake, especially German chocolate cake or Dairy Queen ice cream cake. Just went to a birthday party on Saturday where they had Dairy Queen ice cream cake. All right, angle B is 110, and you see my Z. Alternate interior X is 110. Okay, angle Y I could figure out. What would be the easiest way? I'm thinking the half circle. Yeah, I'm thinking the half circle is the easiest way. I know that that's 110. X is 110, so then Y must be 180 minus 110, which comes up to 70 degrees. And look at this. Look at how easy this is to fill these out. Now, that being said, I can get rid of these, and I'll trace, I think, another F here. Let's see here. Another corresponding angle. X and Z are corresponding. So if X is 110, Z is 110, right? Okay, now that's pretty easy to do. Hey, check this out here. What do you suppose the sum of A plus B plus Y plus Z equals? Well, A is 70, B is 110. By the way, that's 180, right? And Y is 70, and Z is 110, and that's another 180, and two 180s would make 360. Oh, that's kind of cool. I know that the parallelogram has 360 degrees. Excuse me. But if I add up the exterior angles, they're called, the exterior angles, Z is called an exterior angle. Exterior angle. If I add them up, I get 180 degrees, or excuse me, 360 degrees. That's kind of cool. All right, let's try with a triangle here. Let's see what's going on. Let me take a triangle like this, and I'm going to tell you that this is a right angle, okay? And I'll tell you that this is 60 degrees, you're going to need to find x for me, and you're also going to need to find the exterior angles that I'm going to show you. You're going to have to find these exterior angles. Oh, that one's off, but I'll fix it in a moment. Okay. There we go. So you're going to have to find x, and then you also have to find a, b, and c. All right. Now, a is probably the easiest one to find because the half circle, if that one's 90, that one there is 90 because of the right angle mark, well, then a must be 90 degrees. So a is going to equal 90 degrees. All right. Now, if you want to go half circle again, we can do that. There's 180 degrees in the line, in the straight angle. 180 minus 60, b must be 120. All right, so b equals 120 degrees. All right, c. Well, I can't do c just yet. I don't have any parallel lines, so I can't like find corresponding angles or alternate interior. But I do know that this angle, and x all make 180. I know that this one plus that one is 150 degrees. So I could do 180 minus 150, and then x must be 30 degrees. All right, so x is 30 degrees. Now that I know x is 30, I can figure out c by using my half circle. 180 minus 30 will be 150. All right, so c equals 150. All right, if I add, I get 0. 7, 6, carry the 1. Hey, look at that. I came up with 360 again. All right, all I'm doing is using the measure of the angles I know and the properties of the polygons and looking for things like straight angles or corresponding angles and having them help me figure out the other measures. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you a pentagon, and it's a regular pentagon. All right, I'll draw in the exterior angles. I'm not going to do this one for you. I need you to do it for yourself. So that looks pretty good. And that one I can adjust a little bit. Okay. I always like when you do the exterior angles on the pentagon, kind of looks like the beginning of a James Bond movie or something. A little bit anyway. All right, so I'm going to want you to find A, B, C, D, and E, and their sums. I'm going to tell you that it is a regular pentagon. We're going to make this a regular pentagon. All right. And so you're going to have to find the measure of the interior angles on your own, which will be really easy, but let me see. V, W, X, Y, and Z. I didn't use U because I thought it would look a little bit strange. All right. You have to find V, W, X, Y, and Z. But again, it's a regular pentagon, and that should make finding those easy. And then once you find those, you should be able to find A, B, C, D, and E. All right, go ahead and pause the video, and when you're ready, you can unpause it and see if you're right. Okay, if you've unpaused it, I assume that you're ready to see my solution. Well, I know it's a regular pentagon, so I know that W, X, Y, Z, and V are all the same measure. So all I have to do is figure out how many pentagons there are, how many degrees in the total shape, and then figure out how many one would be. Well, I know there's 3 triangles, so 180 times 3, I believe, is 540 degrees. That's if you add up V, W, X, Y, and Z, you get 540. Now, if I divide that by 5, I believe I get 108 degrees. So that means all of these are 108. Okay, 108, 108, 108, and 108. Okay, now, angle B and angle Z make a straight angle. 180 minus 108 would be 72 degrees, right? And this is 108, so this is going to be 72. This will be 72 degrees. This will be 72 degrees. And this will be 72 degrees, right? All the way around, you're getting 72 degrees. Now, by the way, if I have 72, 72, 72, 72, and a 72, there's 5 72s, right? I could multiply 72 times 5, which would be easier. Or I could go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Carry the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 35 plus 1, 36. Oh my goodness, 360 degrees again. I get a sucker for anybody who can tell me why that's happening all the time. Tell me why tomorrow, and I will give you a sucker. All right, real quick review of quadrilaterals. Remember that if I have a quadrilateral, and I'll draw a couple different types here really quick. Okay. There we go. There's one. And there's another type of quadrilateral. And then you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of those. They're in my way. And I'm just going to use my shape drawer to make this one. There we go. And I'll give you this information. Okay. When I go to name them or classify them, I first look and see how many pairs of parallel sides. Okay. Remember, 0 pairs of parallel sides. 0 pairs parallel sides are called trapezoids. No, they are not, Mr. Lawrence. Silly Mr. Lawrence. Sorry about that. Those are your quadrilaterals. All right. So I'm going to look up here and see, do any of these fit that category of 0 pairs of parallel sides? Well, this one over here, this one certainly has pairs of parallel sides. It doesn't have 0. This one here has 1 pair of parallel sides, but this one here has no pairs of parallel sides. Therefore, this is a quadrilateral. Oh my goodness, I didn't bother to group all those together. Control G. All right, so that's a quadrilateral. Okay, now we know the trapezoids, right? The trapezoids. The trapezoids have 1 pair parallel sides. Okay, well, I look up at these examples. This has 1 pair of parallel sides. Right? So I will group them together and I will bring him down here. This one has 1 pair. It actually has 2 pairs, so that's not a trapezoid. Okay, now my parallelograms have 2 pairs of parallel sides. But when I have a parallelogram, I have to go and look what's special about it. This parallelogram has 4 congruent sides, right? These 4 sides are marked congruent. That means this is a parallelogram, but it's a very special type of parallelogram. And a parallelogram with 4 congruent sides, that is a rhombus. And remember, rhombus has an H in it. Okay, so that should help you identify your shapes. All right, Mr. Lawrence, signing off. Have a good night, everybody.